Welcome to Newsmax TV. I'm Kathleen Walter. With us now from Washington is Representative Broun, Republican from Georgia, and also a medical doctor. And Representative, welcome back to Newsmax TV.
Kathleen, it's great to be back with you. Thank you.
Well, today marks the first day of the first government shutdown in 17 years after Democrats rejected the House bill to fund the government and delay Obamacare by a year. And the Senate this morning rejected the House's request for a conference. What do you make of all of this?
Well, Reid has shut the government down. He has rejected every effort that Republicans have made to keep the government open. And in fact, what I've been working very hard to do is to shut down Obamacare because it's going to shut down America. And Republicans understand that. It's a disaster. The president himself has admitted it's a disaster through his own actions. He has exempted his big business buddies when he stuck it to the middle class. He stuck it to small family businesses. He stuck it to hardworking Americans and said he'll protect his big business buddies while making Obamacare go into effect for all the middle class of this country. And that's what Republicans are trying to stop. We don't want the government to shut down, but Reid has shut this government down, trying to protect this disastrous law. It's actually the flaw of the land, not the law of the land, and it must be stopped. And that's what we've been fighting for.
Representative, what is House Republicans' next move, and where, if at all, is there any room for consensus between Republicans and Democrats?
Well, Kathleen, I want to see the government open up, but we've got to get rid of this disaster called Obamacare, because it's already hurting job creation, it's hurting our economy, it's going to destroy budgets all the way from family budgets up to the federal budget. We just saw, in fact, Newsmax had an article I think it was last week, where they said that in Atlanta, a 27-year-old individual in Atlanta would see their insurance premiums go up from $43 a month to $166 a month. This is hurting everybody in this country, and Reid is doing all he can to shut the government down and protect this disastrous law. We need to put it on the shelf. We need to reschedule the implementation of it if we can. We need to defund it, delay it, repeal it, and we need to replace it with something that makes sense, like my Patient Option Act, which would literally lower the cost of health insurance for everybody in this country. It would provide access for all Americans to good quality health care, and it's going to save Medicare from going broke. That's the kind of policy that we need to put in place instead of Obamacare. I don't know, I'm ready to see it opened up. It's just, the government employees who are not getting paid, I feel bad for them. We need to keep this government open, and that's what House Republicans are fighting for. But Reid has resisted even talking to us. He says, you just do it my way or we're not going to even talk. He won't accept any kind of compromise. He has been totally uncompromising. He's not talked about trying to solve this problem. It's apparent to me that he's wanted to shut the government down, and he keeps on trying to point the finger at House Republicans who are working very hard to keep it open. We've offered him plan after plan, and he just rejects it and said, no, you do it my way, period. And it's not fair to the American people. It's not fair to the government workers. It's not fair to anybody in this country, and it's Reid that is the obstructionist here.
Representative, what do you make of the president's leadership on this issue?
Well, it's time for him to he's been leading from behind, and it's time for him to get off his behind and lead. Republicans stayed here all last weekend to work to try to keep the government open. What did the president do? He went and played golf. Reid sent his folks home. We're here trying to get this government operating efficiently in a way that makes sense for American people. And Obamacare is already destroying jobs, it's already destroying our economy, and we need to get rid of this abomination of Obamacare. And it's absolutely critical for our economy, it's critical for job creation, it's critical for the future of the middle class to put Obamacare on the shelf and start gathering dust in the dustbins of history, and let's go forward with something that makes sense for Americans, for health care. I'm a doctor, and I've introduced my Patient Option Act. That's the kind of policy that needs to be put in place instead of Obamacare that's already destroying our economy and jobs, and it's going to destroy our liberty, and it's going to destroy America. So that's what we're fighting for, is to keep the government open and put this attack upon the middle class on hold so that we can repeal it and replace it eventually.
And Representative, the federal government is expected to hit its self-imposed borrowing limit of $16.7 trillion in just a couple of weeks. House Republicans, of course, want any debt ceiling increase offset by spending cuts elsewhere, but the president says he will not negotiate on the debt ceiling. If the president still refuses, though, should the nation default on its financial obligations?
Well, it just shows the lack of leadership by Harry Reid and the president. They say, we're not going to talk to you. We're not going to negotiate about anything. And they want to just continue saying that they're going to run this whole show in a very dictatorial manner. We do it their way. They're not willing to talk. They're not willing to negotiate. They're not willing to do anything to try to get this country headed in the right direction. They're shutting the government down, and they're throwing blame. They're like a kid saying it's somebody else's fault that I did whatever the kid did. They get in trouble, and they're in trouble because they've shut the government down, and now they're trying to pitch blame on Republicans and the Tea Party and anybody else that they can find that they can try to blame. But they need to look in the mirror, because they're the ones to blame. They're the ones that shut the government down. They're the ones that want to continue spending money. They're the ones that are leading us to an economic collapse if we don't stop spending money we don't have.
Last question for you. What words do you have right now for Americans who are maybe tired of the hyperpartisanship, the brinksmanship, and the political maneuvering in Washington?
Well, Republicans are working hard. I'm working hard to give us a plan that makes sense economically and makes sense. As a medical doctor, I know that the government running the doctor-patient relationship is not in the best interest of my patients and patients all over this country. We need to have policy that makes sense for my patients and for the American citizens, economically as well as healthcare-wise. That's the reason I've introduced my Patient Option Act that would put in place policy that would is market-based, is patient-centered. It will make healthcare cheaper for every single American. It will provide access to good quality healthcare for all Americans, and it's going to save Medicare from going broke. That's the kind of policy that I'm promoting. I want to open up the government. We need to put Obamacare on hold till we can get a president that will actually work for us and for the middle class, work for the hardworking Americans instead of protecting his big business buddies as he's doing in this Obamacare. And they're acting like spoiled children and saying, no, I want to have it my way. And that's exactly what President Obama is saying to the American public. It's exactly what Harry Reid's doing. And the American people deserve better. They need better and must demand better from President Obama and from Harry Reid.
All right, Representative Paul Broun, Republican from Georgia. Thanks for joining us today.
Thank you so much. God bless you, Kathleen.
Thank you for watching Newsmax TV.